Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. I'm getting there. Paul, could you please make a post in the Discord for me? Appreciate you, buddy. Make sure this other one is... There we are. Okay, good. Oh, not yet. Gotta wait for it. Uh-oh. Not quite yet. Let's get a little more light. Oh, there we go. That's better. Okay, good. We got some people getting in here. Let's see that. Let's give them about 10 more seconds to get in, get set up. And then we will kick it off and get started. Make a little adjustment here so that everything is getting recorded well for posterity. Oh. Wow. It really doesn't want to. Whatever. Fuck it. You'll figure it out or not. I don't know. Okay. Sorry for my duct tape production. But now that you guys are getting here, it's about time for us to get started. So, let me welcome you to Live with Jack, number 85. 85. I'm Jack, and this is Live with Jack, and we are about to get started. Today, you're going to learn everything that you need to know about how to be the best wingman in the world and how to find the best wingman in the world. We're going to be talking about how to find your wingman soulmate. We're going to be talking about the different tactics and things that you need to know to be effective as a wingman. But if you'd like to truly enjoy today's lesson, if you would like to take it up to the tippy top, if you would like to reach the height of humanity, the culmination of all of civilization, all you need to do is grab your glass, your mug or your flask, a chalice, a stein, or even a cask. Raise it high and let's make a splash. It's time now for our libation bash. Toast the night and enjoy the mood. Together now, we drink some booze. On your mark, let's not wait. It's Cheers with Chaps, so don't be late. Cheers, boys. Cheers, Pretty Ricky. Oh, and cheers to you too, Bella. I know you're there. I know you're there listening. So cheers to you. I hope you gave her something good to drink so that she can join in the fun and the festivities. Now, let's see here. Yep. Pretty Ricky stepping up to the plate. Sorry, I'm still just making some small adjustments here to make sure that everything is set up right. I think this is good. Oh, guys, I have to be honest with you. Things are starting to blow up. Things are getting busy. And I am exhausted. Let's get you up here. Turn that back a little bit and tighten it. Beautiful. All right, good. Now you can hear me well. Hopefully you can see me well. That is not very pretty, is it? Let's move it over to the side a little bit. Not pretty like Pretty Ricky. And let's jump into the lesson. So for wingmanning, the very first thing that you need to consider before anything else is you need to consider, do you even want or need a wingman? There are different advantages to going out solo, to going out with a partner or with a wingman, and going out in an entourage. So let's talk about some of those things. First off, if you go solo, then you aren't relying on anybody else's skill, only your own. You're also, there are some downsides to it too, because you don't have that kind of mutual motivation that you get whenever you have a wingman or a small group. There's a lot of personal and intrinsic motivation that you have to have, that power to push through, to do the approach, even though nobody's watching, even though nobody's telling you what to do, what to say, even though nobody's helping you out. If you can do it on your own, then you can definitely do it with a wingman or in a small group. So if you're new to this, if you're new to trying to meet women and trying to date and going out because you've been using crappy dating apps your whole life so far, you need to learn how to do it solo first. Because once you can do it solo, then you can actually be a good wingman. You can be a good member of an entourage, of a small group. Something to point out here is that if you're working in a small group, you should max out that group at 4 guys. Any more than 4, and even 4 is kind of pushing it, but any more than 4, and men just kind of turn into gorillas and they start over competing and they start pushing each other to do stupid shit rather than to do effective things. So, small groups. If you're going to go out with a group, small group. If you're part of a larger group, you can splinter off and create your own little small group within that. And that's okay. I know oftentimes whenever we have community get-togethers and hangouts, we'll have 13, 15, 18 guys there. And in that larger group, there will be smaller groups, guys who are working together and who are helping each other. That is your ideal situation. Not the big group, but the small group. Or having just a partner, a wingman, somebody who understands you well, who you match well with, and you guys can work together. So let's talk about exactly that thing. How do you find a good wingman? The first thing that you need to do is you need to make sure that your skills are on the same or equivalent levels. If there's a wide gap of skill, of ability, of social skills, then you're going to run into huge issues very quickly because one guy is going to end up dominating everything, and then the other guy is just going to be standing there being awkward. He might blow up your set by not being good enough, or if you're the guy with the lower skill, then you might have a hard time getting in and making an impression on the girls. That can also blow up your set because if there are 2 guys and 2 girls, and one of the guys isn't able to keep up, isn't able to pull his weight in the conversation, then one of the girls is going to feel like she got the raw end of the deal and she's not going to want to play along. So you want to make sure that you're matching at the same or comparable skill level. The next thing to pay attention to is that your energy level matches. This doesn't necessarily mean it has to be the same, but it should be complementary. They should work together to make something fun, to make things good. If one person is really, really high energy and the other person is very low energy, you run into the same issue that you had with the skill matching, which is people are going to say something like, oh, wait, why are you friends with this guy? Or they're going to say something like, your friend is a bit much there, isn't he? Right? You don't want to draw attention to the energy discrepancy there. Instead, you want everything focused on the conversation, on the fun. Anything that's going to take away from the fun, anything that's going to distract her or make her lose focus on what it is that you're doing is going to work to your detriment. So you want your skill level and your energy levels to match or be at least complementary so that they work together well. The next thing that you need to do is if you find somebody who matches you on skill and energy level, you need to do some trial runs together. That means this could be very simple, right? It could just be, hey, look, let's hit the street real quick and let's just talk to some people. Let's see how you work in these social situations. You can see how I work in these social situations. And we can see, do we work well together? Do we have similar senses of humor? Do we have similar energy levels? Are we both going for the same girl every time? Or are we good at knowing who we want and they're different girls? So whenever we pair up, it becomes very easy to figure out who gets who. And we'll get into that a little bit later. But you want to do a couple of trial runs with somebody. If somebody is not a good match for you as a wingman, that doesn't mean that they're a bad friend. It doesn't mean that you don't want to hang out anymore. It might just mean they aren't good for you as a wingman. I'm not good as a wingman for a lot of guys who I'm friends with. I love them. We love hanging out together. That's fine. But I don't match well with them as a wingman, usually because my energy level is through the roof. And so somebody who's naturally more serious or calm or down to earth is not going to match well with me. Instead, I match well with guys like Rich whenever we go out and we're both just bouncing off the wall, off each other and entertaining everybody else. And then that turns into a fun and enjoyable evening for other people as well, so that they are attracted to join us. So find somebody who matches with you, do a couple of trial runs, make sure that you're a good fit, and then you have yourself a wingman soulmate. That's what you're looking for. Now, let's talk about how to actually be a good wingman. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to agree on the targeting. Who is it that you're trying to meet? If one of you is out there trying to find your future wife and the mother of your children, but your wingman is out there trying to just find people to hook up with, then you're not targeting the same way. So hold on a minute. Let me turn the camera a little bit so that it doesn't get the hallway. And then I'll move this over later when we get to that part. So you want to make sure that your targeting is matched correctly so that you're both looking for the same thing, so that you're both looking in the same places for the same types of girls, for the same situation. Hey, Bento, I know you're excited. Calm down, buddy. Next, your energy control. So I already talked about having matching energy levels where you and your wingman are either the same kind of level or complementary energy levels. Excellent. But you also need to be able to control that, to bring it up and down throughout the night. Because if you're going high octane all night long, it's absolutely going to kill you. It's going to kill you. And you're going to run out of gas too early. What you want to do is you want to be able to turn it up and then turn it down and control that. Whenever you're meeting a girl or a group of girls, and we're going to get into that a little bit as well, you want to be at about their energy level plus 10%. About. This is kind of how you should gauge it in your mind. You want to be slightly higher energy than they are. Because if they're just sitting there having like a calm, quiet conversation, and then you come in like the Kool-Aid man busting through walls, hey kids, you're going to scare them off, and that's not going to work for you. So you want to make sure that you can control your energy level and figure out where you want to be. Next, also with the targeting, you want to try to match your numbers to their numbers. So if it's you and a wingman, you're trying to meet two girls who are there by themselves. If you're solo, you can kind of work with more things there. You can talk to one girl, obviously, or you can talk to 2, 3, 4. You can talk to groups, and you can work that a little bit differently. That's a whole different skill set. But if you're out with a wingman, you want to try and match the numbers. Ideally, you have 2 and 2. That's what you're going for. Now, you might find yourself in situations where you're dealing with larger groups, where you're talking to a group of 3 or 4 girls, and you're specifically trying to talk to 2 of them inside that group. That's a possibility. But ideally, you want to target girls who both of you like, but there's a difference in who likes who better, and matching numbers. If you're out with a guy and you're wingmanning, or you guys are just working together, helping each other out, and he's talking to a solo girl, or maybe he goes up and he approaches a solo girl, you can still help him out. You can still be a good wingman, especially if you guys go over there together and you're both talking to her. But you already know, you should already have a good enough rapport with your wingman that there's not any miscommunication about it, that you both know who's doing this approach and why. You can go over there with him and you can kind of pump your buddy up. You can pump your pal. You can, talk him up or make him look good in some way, shape, or form. Be like, oh, you know what? You're really going to love this guy. He's so cool. He's so fun. Oh, ask him about that time in New Orleans or something like that. And then, this is the important part, you have an exit strategy. You are ready to leave when it's time to go. Once you pump your buddy up, once you get everything kind of moving and smooth, then you say, oh, y'all have a good time. I'm going to go get drinks. Do y'all want something to drink? You can buy them drinks. You can help him out. You can make sure that everything's going smoothly, but be able to distance yourself. Have a clear exit strategy and a plan in mind for that. Next, let's talk. Oh, hello, guitar. Let's talk a little bit more about some of these advanced tactics. So first off, divide and conquer. Oh, the glare. All right, let's see if we can do this without losing too much light. There we go. Can y'all read that okay, or is the glare still bad? Well, I hope that it's legible. It's hard for me to see. But divide and conquer. So whenever you're talking to a group of girls, or whenever you're talking to two girls. What you actually want is you want to be talking one-on-one with the girl who you like the most. To do that, you're going to have to definitely trust your wingman. This is why it's so important to find the right wingman for you. But you're going to want to separate them. You want to isolate them a bit, because that's how you can have personal conversations. That's how you can develop that interest that turns into attraction, that leads to the decision of getting her contact information, or setting up a date, or moving on to the next venue, or whatever it is that you're going to do. The best way to do that is by developing those connections and having a talk with her one-on-one. To do that, you're going to have to isolate them, separate them a little bit. So what we're going for here is subtle separation. We're not just trying to like pull them to the side or something. You might say something like, oh, I'm going to go outside and have a smoke. Here, come with me and we can continue chatting out there. And then you can chat with her a little bit. You might say, oh, I'm going to go to the bar to get some more drinks. Here, come help me carry them. Okay, so something like this, where you're in a situation that is low risk for her. One of the biggest issues that you're going to run into, especially depending on how big the group of girls is that they're going to want to make sure that their friend is safe, but they also want to make sure that they are safe. So you want to put it in a low risk situation to show them that you're not a danger. You're not a threat. You're not going to do anything bad. You just want to talk to her one-on-one. The best way to do that is with these subtle separation techniques and these trial closes. Separating them off a little bit more for a little bit longer. Maybe after you go to the bar to grab drinks, then 20 minutes later you say, oh, hey, let's go play this game, or let's go play beer pong, or let's go play Jenga, or there's something cool upstairs or something. And then you can separate off for 10, 15 minutes. Make sure everything's cool. Everybody's happy. We're all okay with this. And then as you push that a little bit more and more, that's good for you and that's good for your wingman, because you both get to talk one-on-one with the girl who you want to talk to. You get to start developing and building that connection and that trust. Not just the trust from the girl, but also the trust from the girl's friend or friends that you're okay, that you're a safe guy, that you're good to be around, and they don't need to worry about their friend. The next thing you need to consider is group dynamics, the mother hen, and the HBIC. So you guys probably already know what the mother hen is. In any group, there is one friend whose single job it is to ruin your night, to just make everything shit for everybody. Make sure nobody has fun. Nobody gets to do what they want to do. No, because mother hen isn't getting what she wants. Another term for this is the HBIC, the head bitch in charge. Mother hen is usually referring to the fat chick who's cock blocking everybody. Head bitch in charge is slightly different because she just wants to be part of things. She's the leader of the group, whatever their group dynamics, their social dynamics are. Bento, calm down, buddy. Whatever their group dynamics are, somebody in the group is the leader. She's in charge. And that's usually the HBIC. Now, she may not be a mother hen. She may not be trying to ruin everything, but you must appease the HBIC. You have to take care of her, make sure that she's having fun, make sure that she has a drink, make sure that everything's cool, and that she knows she's in charge. You defer to her leadership. Maybe before you even do one of the trial closes, you ask her. I know it sounds kind of weird, but you can actually throw that in there. Be like, oh, hey, I'm going to go to the bar to pick up drinks. I need a couple of extra hands. You mind if I borrow your friend here for a minute? Ask her. Show her that she's in charge. She will be happy. She'll play along. Now she likes you. That's good. This works well in the group dynamic. In the group, you want for both you and your wingman to be, again, same energy plus about 10% over the group. And you want the two of you to kind of be the center of attention. But like hokey pokey, you're stepping in and then you're stepping out. You're comfortable taking control of the group for a minute or two to tell a story, to tell a joke, to make a silly cheers for everybody, something like that. But then you step back out and you let the group continue with their normal dynamic, and you're talking to the girl that you're interested in. So you can play around with these group dynamics. This is going to differ between different types of guys, right? Different energy levels, different skill levels, what you're comfortable doing, how you fit into the social situation. It's going to be different with different types of girls in different situations. Feel this out, but you and your wingman should kind of already have a game plan together, or just a common enough understanding between each other that you know how you're going to lead things, how you're going to work things, how you're going to pass things back and forth between each other, stuff like that. Play with the group dynamics, appease the HBIC, try to ditch the mother hen if at all possible. If at all possible, try to ditch her. If you can't ditch her, try to find somebody else who's willing to jump on that grenade and pay attention to her, at least to pay attention to her. Because if you can find a friend who's willing to come over and chat up the mother hen and, you know, keep her happy, keep her entertained for a while, you should be good to go. The last thing I want to talk about here is who gets who. Now, as a general rule, if you're not sure, then you always default to this rule. Whoever does the approach gets to choose. And that choice is respected. You don't step on your buddy's toes. You don't try to steal his girl away. Even if you like her better, doesn't matter. Whoever does the approach gets to choose. In a perfect situation, you both already know each other's tastes well enough that you know if I go over there and I approach, I'm gonna want the little one, right? Like I like that one. And you, oh, perfect. I like the tall one with the big ass. Okay, cool, perfect, right? In a perfect situation, you both already know who you like, and you can approach girls that fit two different distinct categories, one for each of you. That's ideal. But if there is ever a question about it, you default to whoever does the approach gets to choose. Now, there's one interesting exception to this, which is occasionally you'll do the approach. You guys will be set up. You'll be talking to your girls. And then it becomes very clear that the girls have different preferences. This is where you do the old switcheroo and you just trade places. Because if you know that that's happening and you can feel that happening, then you have two choices, which is either switch if you're both okay with it, or eject. Because if the girls have already chosen and they've chosen differently from you, not too much you can do about it. You either follow along with it or you get out. Those are your options. So that's the only situation in which you would be going after your buddy's choice of girl, is if the girls choose otherwise. Next, let's talk a little bit about body language and nonverbals. So the first one is you want to be creating proper dynamics. So this is kind of what I was talking about here earlier with the group dynamics. You want to set up a situation where you guys can both be talking either one-on-one with your girls or in a group as it fits, as you guys are moving in and out of the conversation. You want to be creating something where both of the girls feel like they're still here with their friend, they're still having a conversation with their friend, but also they're having a conversation with you. Ideally, you can seamlessly jump in and out between a group conversation about something to then one-on-one conversations where maybe you guys talk about some topic for a little bit and then you ask the girls individually, oh yeah, well, you know, do you ever have this situation, or what do you think about this, or something like that? And you guys can jump in and out between the group and the individual conversations. So that's ideal. You also want to build the situation in such a way that these things are possible. Now, that might mean that you need to choose the right venue or the right place. Or if you're doing these approaches on the street, you want to make sure that you're not trying to just stay there on the street and have these conversations for 15, 20 minutes. Instead, you want to bring them to a place where you guys can talk, where you can have these dynamics that are going to help you. You want to engineer these situations and build the situation that's going to work for the dynamic that you and your wingman already have that you're bringing the girls into. Engineer the situation so that it fits your needs. Don't bow to just, well, I guess this is just what it is, so let's try and shove the square peg into the round hole. It doesn't work that way. You want to build the situation that's most advantageous for you, that gives you the best chance of success. Next thing that you need to do is you want to have equality in escalation. This is really important because if two girls are talking and one of you is really starting to escalate, you're getting very physical, you're getting very touchy, but the other guy is just sitting there being awkward, not knowing what to do. This is, again, why skill matching is so important. But you want to have equality in escalation for a couple of reasons. First of all, so that the girl who is being escalated doesn't feel awkward or doesn't feel embarrassed in front of her friend. Also, you don't want the other girl to feel like, well, I guess maybe he just isn't into me. I guess maybe he doesn't like me. You want to be escalating at roughly the same pace so that everything feels natural. It feels fun. It doesn't seem out of place at all. If only one person is escalating, it's going to seem really out of place. And it's going to make things awkward, probably on both girls. So you want equality in the escalation. The next thing that you want to do is you want to be testing agreeableness. So as you're talking or as you're doing things and you ask her questions or ask her to do something or ask her to help you with something, these are basically similar to the trial closes that I talked about earlier, but on more of just is she into this? Is she digging this? Is she wanting more? Is she following along? These are all very important things to know, but the only way to know is to try, is to ask. So even something as simple as, oh, could you hold this beer for me for a second? That alone is already testing her agreeableness. Now, seems simple. And of course, almost everybody's going to say yes. But then it comes to like, oh, help me carry these things. Or, hey, let's go do this. Or let's step outside and smoke real quick. Or, oh, let's go to the next bar. Or, hey, let's get out of here. Do you see how that escalated up? It went from something simple where she's agreeing, she's saying yes. It's showing that she wants to do things with you. She wants to do things for you. And she's going to follow your lead. It means you have good frame. It means that the conversation is going well. She's having a good time and she wants to continue moving forward. If you start asking her to do things and you get resistance, you get pushback, then okay, cool. You haven't calibrated well enough. You need to back up a little bit, do a little bit more, keep going, and then push again, right? See how things go, but you're testing for agreeableness to make sure that she's on board the whole way. You want her to be enjoying it and you want her to want to continue on. So that's how you check that out. The last thing you want to do is you want to pay attention to signs, to signals that she gives you. One of the things that you're going to notice is girls have the ability to basically communicate telepathically, especially with their friends. And they can communicate with just a look. So if you suggest something, you say like, oh, hey, let's go over here and let's grab a coffee. They're going to look at each other. This is important because this is going to tell you whoever looks first at the other one is the follower, right? And so remember, you want to make sure that the HBIC is happy, is getting her respect, is doing all that stuff. So that's a good example of something that you need to pay attention to, the way that they look at each other. Who's looking? How long are they thinking about something? What are they considering? Are they both nodding along and checking each other? Or is one of them like, I don't know, maybe check? You want to watch their facial expressions. You want to watch their eyes, their eye contact. How is their dynamic together? You want to watch their body language. If one girl seems really open, like we talked about last week with body language, if one girl seems really open and she's very interested, but the other one's a little bit closed off, you need to address that immediately. So you need to be paying close attention to all of the body language. Bento, calm down, buddy. To all of the body language and nonverbal information that she's giving you, because that is going to help you figure out, are you in? Are you out? Do you need to recalibrate? Do you need to build more interest, more attraction? What do you need to do here? Maybe your wingman's not holding up his end. Maybe you need to prop him up a little bit. You need to figure these things out by paying close attention. Also, don't be afraid to actually communicate with your wingman, right? And just talk to him. Be like, hey, dude, you okay? You need help or anything? Like, you can ask, and it's okay, right? Nobody's going to get mad. Nobody's going to be like, oh my God, that's so weird. Two friends are talking to two other friends, and they want everybody to be happy and succeed. Wow, what a weird situation. No, it sounds awkward in your head, but that's because you're making it out to be something that it's not. So instead, don't be afraid. Talk to your buddy. Talk to your wingman soulmate, right? Have an open line of communication. If one of you is being too high energy or too low energy, say that. It's okay. You can ask each other to change things, to adjust things on the fly. It's okay. Have an open line of communication. So, with all of that said, this is Wingmanning 101, and this is how you're going to not just find, but also be the very best wingman. Be all the wingman you can be, I believe is one of those military slogans or something. So, now that we're done with that, I want to go ahead and jump into the live Q&A section of today's live stream. So, I'm going to pull you guys down here with me. Let's see here. Bento, what are you so angry about? Wife, is he okay?
Because I'm hiding my hands.
Ah, he's mad at you for having hands? Yeah, he does that. Okay. You can go ahead and come in. Come in.
Right here? Sweet.
They're here.
Yeah. Sorry. It's been a while.
How you guys doing?
Good.
Pretty good. I'm very excited for today's topic, actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, I thought it's a good one we can all contribute to.
Yeah.
It's not as abstract.
Long overdue.
Yeah.
We've been doing this now for 1.5 years, and finally we're going to talk about how to actually behave.
I didn't even know that this was something that y'all were worried about, or that y'all wanted to talk about. I wasn't aware. Let's adjust.
I think it's like a fundamental thing, you know. So it's kind of actually surprising that neither one of us suggested it or that we have never gone over it. Right? It's kind of.
Oh yeah, I will switch into this one so we can.
There you go. That's a lot better.
Hey. Set up the microphone over here so that y'all can hear me all right.
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. All right. So, how are you boys doing? How's everything going?
It's been a good week. It's been kind of chill since last Saturday. Kind of just recovering, getting back on my feet.
Yeah.
Getting my liver fully detoxed.
Yeah, you gotta give yourself the weekdays to recover.
Yeah, it goes hard. You party with Papa Jack and the Jack North coaching community, shit's gonna kick off.
Yeah, I had to take it really easy a few nights ago. I was just gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna do that and not drink as much. That's out till 5.
Yeah, exactly.
Always happens.
It's all right, fine. Just one beer. 6 hours later, and
Yeah, exactly.
Home,
yeah.
Can't keep doing it. But luckily, I didn't actually spend a lot, which was good. I just, kept getting free drinks. It was great. I felt like a woman.
All right, so let's jump into the Q&A. Paul, you got questions for us?
Yeah, I have the ones from Discord, but you didn't send me the ones from the kid.
The kid didn't send me any.
Oh, okay. Well,
I don't think he did.
Well, then we will start with one of mine, actually.
Let's start with one of yours.
So now we've heard about, now we've spent a lot of time about, how to be a good wingman.
Mm-hmm.
When should you just stay the fuck away? Because that is equally important, I think.
It is. So this is kind of similar to what I was talking about helping your buddy with a solo girl and having that exit strategy. But if you see your buddy and he's doing fine, don't even go, right? Don't even go, right? Leave him be. Let him do his thing. Or, if you want to kind of just be a little bit part of the situation without blowing up any of his stuff, then you can swing by and just be like, oh, I'm going to get a drink. Do you want something to drink? By the way, I haven't met you yet. I'm Jack. Oh, it's nice to meet you. Do you want a drink? And you can just kind of be part of it a little bit without trying to go in, right?
Sure. I think that's an excellent thing to do. Just kind of give an assistance. So that way the drinks or whatever they're doing isn't getting it doesn't interrupt it. Because sometimes, the girl gets pulled away by her friends or she goes to the bathroom. You guys, it happens. It's happened to me a million times.
Yeah.
I think it's a great thing to just be, oh yeah, here guys, whatever. Go cool. I'll see you around, man. Like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's a great thing to do.
That also gives your buddy the chance to either eject gracefully if he's not feeling it, right? Or to bring you in if he wants to. If he wants a little bit of help, he wants an assist. Okay, cool. That gives him the chance to naturally bring that in without having to do have you met Paul? Right?
Yeah, one thing that I see quite a lot is whenever we're out, like usually most of us, we try to talk to girls in groups of two. So like we have me and Caesar, we send Harry with Taylor, we send like other people together, and like we try to group people two and two, kind of to find an approach together.
Mhm.
And in these situations, like say me and you, Caesar, we're already talking to two girls, and then someone else comes by. Like, when do you think it's okay in a situation like that? I think like most people should just try to stay out.
Yeah.
But now we're in the two and two situation. We're already winging each other. Like the second you get more people in here, this is tanking really, really fast.
Yeah.
Very often, at least
I,
in my experience.
I
And
think the only time you can actually go up to two guys who are talking to two other women to be like, hey, we're going to be going to another place. We're going to be going upstairs. We're going to go to this restaurant, beer pong, whatever.
yeah, I
Like updating them on something, maybe stopping by and saying hi, but not interjecting yourself and inserting yourself into this thing because you're just tanking the whole thing, right?
Or
You're ruining the
hovering.
dynamic, the energy. Sorry?
Even worse is hovering, right?
Hovering.
Occasionally, I'll see a dude who, like, his buddy is talking to a girl, and then he'll just walk over there and just hover, just
yeah,
sit
just
there,
hang out.
Guys,
hang out.
I'm
Don't
not naming names. Don't fucking hover.
Yeah, don't
I don't care if it's me or Paul or a guy you've never met before in the bar or wherever we are. Don't just go and stand and look or stand behind me or the girl expecting me to do something or whatever this person. You're just gonna make
Yeah,
some people mad, right? And we're your friends, but if you do it to another guy and he doesn't know who you are, there's a good chance you're gonna get told to fuck off or even decked. Guys don't like it when you get between them and a woman. So just back off.
Yeah, but also, like, it doesn't benefit you at all to just,
No,
like,
no, no. They're just standing there hovering, just like this. Don't do it, guys. Don't do it.
exactly.
yeah. That is trying to insert you into a situation where you're not probably not need. You're definitely not needed, and you're probably not even wanted in the situation. So then it's best just to read the situation well and just stay out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna mention names, but like we had a situation like that on Saturday actually,
Mhm.
Mhm.
where we had set up two guys with two other girls, and then Jack just stepped in and took away the interrupting party.
The interrupting chicken. Yeah, like no, it's important to do that because I feel like it's also like a socially conscious thing. Like most people know, some don't, and I think some people here just don't realize you can't just stand there and hover and wait for something to happen.
Yeah,
It's just not the way the world works. Um, and I've seen this happen many times. It happened to me, I think, a week or two ago. The dude just came, just stood there, and I was like, get the fuck out my goddamn face before I get and put my foot up your ass. One of those things that you just don't do it. Don't do it. And I know it's happened to Paul. It's happened to Harry. I know it's happened to Jack many times in the past. Just don't do it, guys. If your friend, especially if it's a one-on-one and they're talking, it looks like he's making great progress. He's touching her. They have their phones out. They're giggling. They're on each other. Back
yeah.
off.
Or even just like you're playing beer pong and it's one guy and one girl on a team and there's one guy and one girl on the other team. Just you can ask for a
Back off.
celebrity shot, fine, but other than that, just stay away.
Yeah. Unless your friend calls you in and he's like, "Hey, dude, take over for me." Back off. Just back off. Assume that's his girlfriend. Just back off.
For that one, I have a very good example. Like we were out, I think it's 2 weekends ago. We're playing beer pong. One of our guys were already having a girl. They were physically escalating, and then a third guy comes in and starts talking to the girl. And I'm just like, okay, I'm on the other team. I have one girl, and then I go to him, hey, just come over here, play with this girl instead. I'll just go drink instead, like just to get him out of the situation.
Sure.
Yeah.
Plus,
Yeah,
the girl that was on my team wasn't my style at all anyway, so just okay.
Mhm.
Well, we've talked before about how important social intelligence is and understanding situations. It's very difficult to demonstrate that you have social intelligence, but it's very easy to demonstrate that you do not have it, because most of social intelligence is knowing what not to do.
Mhm.
And so, like, nobody's ever going to say this guy has excellent social intelligence unless you are, for some reason able to demonstrate that. But people do know somebody who doesn't have it, and that's easy to see. So if you're acting in this way, in this socially unintelligent way, then you're going to stand out as like, right, nobody wants to hang out with that guy. No girl wants to talk to him because he just doesn't get it.
No. I think a good example of was it when Paul and I had a third person when we were talking to two girls and things were going fine. It was actually with Ricky. Ricky did a great job. He was a third dude. He was holding his conversation. I saw it. I kind of just backed off, let him do his thing. Then I helped Paul out with his thing, winged it for him. It was just like the third accessory, and everyone was doing a good job, right? That's I think a rare example when things work really well. Ricky, awesome job. Keep it up.
Yeah, I also want to use that one as a very good example, because that was a very good example of how me and Caesar actually plays off each other. Because the way this started out was me with one girl, then Ricky with the other, and Caesar on the sideline, right? And then when Caesar saw like Ricky kind of faltering a little bit, and he knows this because we've been talking a lot about this. And then Caesar also stepped in just to equate how the balance of the two teams are. And that is one thing. That is a very good way of kind of being a good wingman while you are still a third party to the whole situation. And I think that made the girls in that situation feel a lot more comfortable around me and even around Ricky, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what we ended up doing was after that we switched up. So we switched girls, and then I was then on the outside, and the other girl was into Caesar, and we left the third one with like Ricky, and the last one we mostly left them alone. And whenever we saw like, okay, now this is kind of stumbling again, then we just, okay, now group chat, like everyone in, like just lighten up the mood. And then we also kind of, all of us, and then me and Caesar go like, okay, this girl, and then leaving Ricky and the other girl outside, so that they are kind of forced to keep on practicing reasons in that situation.
The balance of the force must be maintained.
Yeah,
it was all perfect. It was
and
just...
to Ricky at that night, like 2 thumbs up from being very... A couple of months ago, you needed a lot of help, and you actually handled yourself very, very well.
And these two women were extremely beautiful. Most guys wouldn't have the guts to approach them. You did.
Well,
you made that happen.
You made it happen. There were 2 girls. They've been sitting there alone for like an hour and a half. Not a single guy had dared approach them. And you still got them to play beer pong. You got them to stay around for about 2.5 hours. So big thumbs up for that.
Yeah.
That is actually a good wingman.
Yeah. Yeah. A bad one is, we already know a bad one, but following someone around actively, the way I interpret it when I see it with like Paul and the others and myself even, when you follow someone around and you just actively just cock block, where you get in the way of things, you insert yourself, even if it's one-on-one, it's kind of like, whoa, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Don't do that, guys.
The only reason to go into a one-on-one is like, hey, I'm getting another drink. Do you guys need one? That's fine.
Yeah.
That is actually wingmanning in the terms of like making sure that none of them have to actually leave.
Yeah. And it doesn't ruin the flow of the good conversation you're having.
Yeah, exactly.
Guys, please back the fuck off.
So on exactly this point, let's bring up Crow's question that he typed into the comments here.
Yep. I'm curious on what is the reverse. Your friend interrupts and it doesn't look like he's leaving.
Yeah. So in a situation like that, if somebody is demonstrating bad social intelligence, you can start off pretty soft and something like, hey man, I think it's your round, right? You want to get the drinks and find a way to like send him off. Or you can be like, by the way, Paul was looking for you upstairs. Go find him. He wanted to talk to you about something. And literally just pass him off to somebody else. But in some situations, you might have to get a little bit more forceful.
Yeah.
And be like, hey, buddy, are you okay? Like, do you need something? Can I help you with something? No, you just hanging around? Okay. Look, go on and do other things, and I'll be with you in a few minutes, okay? I'll come and find you. Don't worry. But I'm talking with her right now, so
Yeah, I've had this problem before too, and it wasn't just one, but two people hovering over me. Is when Paul came, I think it was over the summer or something like that.
Oh yeah, when we were
You
outside
remember
with the two Japanese girls.
that, and the one upstairs on the terrace.
Oh yeah.
So guys, like if I'm having, if one of us is having a conversation, and it doesn't include anyone else, you're both standing up, I'm sitting with her, that's your cue to just go away, because not only am I doing something totally different than you physically, by sitting and you standing, there's nothing's gonna happen, right? Unless you're at the same table as us, there's no reason for you to interject yourself into the conversation. Back off. If I go out with Paul and I are usually we're like Ken and Ryu when it comes to winging together. He's my guy to go to, right?
I'm just see him in the corner floating and like, yes, I approve.
Yeah, he'll come by with the drinks. That's exactly what you need to do. He'll get the round, or I'll give him my card and he'll get the round. He'll just kind of keep things going, right? So like if I go out with Paul and it's just us two, then a third guy comes in and kind of comes in. It just kind of, if there's two of them, three of us, it's not going to work. One of us is going to end up empty-handed, and they're not going to be happy. So back off, guys. Remember, we should just have a rule of two, like the jet, like the Sith. Just only two and two, nothing else.
If two are present, everyone else just stay away.
Yeah, just
like that was a very good example with the two Japanese girls too that we met outside. We had just done our approaches, done our group approach. So we're just getting into the group, and then while kind of finding our way from being one girl, Caesar and me, to me getting around and going over to the other girl and actually finding our coupling inside the new group. Another person came swooping in to the girl on the side, right? And that also creates a dynamic where we're already approached as two, and then two other guys come swooping in for the girl that's left alone for maybe 10 seconds before we kind of switched it up.
Yeah, you gotta. Yeah, it's important to know, if there's more of us than them, if there's more men than women, there's a chance it's just gonna it's dead in the water. It's gonna fuck it up.
Three's a crowd.
Three is most certainly a crowd.
Three's
Rule of two, the
sure.
Sith. I'm Palpatine, he's Darth Vader. There can only be two. Nothing else, guys. Okay.
Crow.
Yeah, you're completely right, Crow.
and okay, now I know who that is. And guys, another thing with winging too. If I bring a female friend, if Jack or Paul brings a female friend, and unless we explicitly say she's up for grabs, she's looking for a guy, don't hound her. Don't expect me to wing it for you. Don't follow her around like a bunch of hyenas. If she's with me as like a friend, don't hover over her, because it creates a really uncomfortable vibe for her, and then she'll start complaining to me about it later. And I've had this happen with two friends I've brought so far. So guys, unless, for instance, Jack, he brought his coworker, I believe the South African Korean girl, and he made it clear. She was like, oh, she's looking for someone to meet, whatever. And okay, cool. But if he's brought out his other one from another job, and he made it clear that she's not up for grabs, and we're like, okay, cool. We got to respect that dynamic. We can't be creepy, guys. Unless one of us gives the go ahead with my coworker or a friend or something, don't hound her. Because not only am I not going to wing it, or the other guy's not going to wing it, it's going to
We
put
might
us.
actually actively try to cockblock you in that.
Yeah, we will cock block you, and we don't want to deal with the uncomfortable conversations later with you or her.
Yeah.
Okay, keep that in mind, guys.
Let's look at Sabi's question that he typed into the chat here.
What would be better if a wingman and my energy doesn't match? Me trying to increase, or he asking him to decrease? My honest answer here is find another wingman.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I was gonna say. Is that guy is not your wingman. He might be your friend, right? Like that. I'm not poo-pooing that, but he might not be your wingman. That's okay.
It's also like it depends how big the difference is. So, like me and Caesar, we are excellent wingmen together, but our energy levels are very different. But we also look for, like, we also explicitly go for groups of girls where the energy balance is very big difference in, so that we will actually both match in the group that we go into. And then we also have that, like, so one of my traits is that I will match the energy of, I will, like, if I'm with high energy people, so whenever I'm with Jack or I'm with Caesar, my energy usually goes up quite a lot. If I go solo, my energy is very low. And then because he drags me up, we still end up at this area where it's passable in almost any group of girls.
Sure.
But also the kind of the way we target, like, we are different in personality. So typically Caesar will go for the more high energy girl, I will go for the lower energy girl. And like this will usually balance out pretty well. So it's either finding a new wingman, or you guys need to learn to target your group approaches better, or like the groups of girls you want to approach better.
Another thing to point out here is that the answer to your question depends on who the girls are, right? Because like I said before, you want to be at about their energy level plus 10%. So if you're going out and you're trying to target the woo girls, right? If you're trying to target the girls doing Jaeger bombs up at the bar,
then you need Jack.
Yeah, I mean, but then the answer to your question is you need to bring your energy level up. But if you guys are targeting two librarians who are sitting in a lounge bar just having like a gin and tonic over an hour, then your wingman needs to lower his energy to match plus 10%. That's where you should always be targeting. Now, if you ideally you're finding girls who already match the energy level that you want to be at, but that's not always an option for you depending on your situation. So make sure that both you and your wingman have the ability to control your energy levels to bring them up or down. Also, if you have a massive imbalance and a mismatch, like I said, like Paul said, it's probably just not your wingman, which is okay.
Like for all of you guys that have seen all of us out together, right? Like me and Jack, that would never work.
Yeah, it doesn't work well. It doesn't work well, right?
It's like opposite ends.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't work well. And I mean, it's the same thing like whenever we were doing the boot camp weekend, right? And I can match energy levels well with Jake. But whenever I was with Coot, it was mostly just like, I'm going to make the intro and then I'm going to get the fuck out. Because if we're there, the imbalance is too big and I'm going to blow up his set. So I can't do that. Right. Even if I try to control to lower energy, right? There's only so slow that a Lamborghini can accelerate, right? Like it just is what it is.
I think an analogy that works very well is like if you turn like the energy levels down to the same scale we use for girls, like you can go from 1 to 10. If you are a 10, you can't have a wingman that is on a regular lower than a 7 or 8. Like, because you need to be able to balance it around like 8, 8.5 at that point. Like for me and Caesar, that works very well because while Caesar is at an 8, my normal is maybe 5, 6, right? So for us, we kind of converge around like the 7-ish area. and that works very well for the way we play off each other. The other thing there is that like we have a very similar style, right? Because that also has very much to say. Um, Now I'm gonna like when I go out in like my finer wear, let's call it that. Like I actually dress up to go out. I put on a white shirt. I wear my black jeans. Like I look like just
I was just imagining you
and,
wearing like a
and
silk
then
teddy or something. Like
yeah, and then Jack comes out in his like his Hawaiian shirt and like a colorful shorts and slippers. That doesn't work. Like the whole dynamic of the group is off.
Yeah.
So it's very much like you need to find one that is both similar in both. Doesn't need to be similar physically, but has to be similar in like energy, like style, like actual pickup style or dating style. That has to be quite similar for it to work very well.
I was laughing at Coot where he said, "You know, Jack, I'm the one that has more energy than Sabi." I'm like,
Damn.
yeah.
Who's always ready to go to sleep by like 8?
Yeah.
Damn.
Well, I mean, in that case, then you guys actually might be a good pairing if you're slightly higher energy than him, then that works. But also, like, Sabi, you can definitely stand to bring your energy level up, right? He was the one who asked earlier about like the energy levels.
Yeah.
You specifically, not to answer your question generally, but you specifically can stand to bring your energy levels up. You have a lot going for you, and you just need to accept it and jump in.
Okay, now here is one thing that I'm gonna say for the guys that are low energy. That is, find those friends that are hyper social and always show up. I used to be super low energy. Like the first times you guys met me, I was very, very low energy. Like one day out with you guys, and I was dead for a week. Not from hangover, but from social drainage. But keeping like you guys kept this, hey, come out, like it's Thursday, let's have a beer. Ending up going to sleep at 4 a.m, right? You guys just kept dragging me out and just keep hanging out with you guys. And then I went back to Norway like a year later, and not a single person where I come from is like, what happened to your energy? It's like double what it used to be. Because you guys just, because forcing yourself into those high energy situations over and over and over again actually transfers a little bit of that over to you. And that comes from me. Like if I took an MBTI test, I would score 80 something percent introvert before I met you guys. These days I score pretty much a straight 50-50. And
I don't.
That's something that a lot of guys, especially like when you're looking for wingmen, if the guys that you normally go out with is very high energy, then start going out just as often as you can, but not with the intent of being wingman, but just for just exposing yourself to that high social energy settings, because that will naturally bring your energy up as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's quickly look at Pretty Ricky's question here, because this one we can answer really fast, right?
Here's my question. Might be a little irrelevant to today's topic, I guess. I went out alone a few times in July, and there I had some situation where I could develop into a fight with a guy. Okay. Then it follows up. That is actually the reason that I avoid going out alone. So Jack, would you deal with how would you deal with it if you got involved in those situations? Well,
get out.
That's obvious.
The reason why you got into that situation in the first place is because you misread the situation.
Yeah.
That is, you either try to talk to someone that was obviously taken, you're trying to make your way into a group of people where you are not welcome, or you say things that comes off as either weird or rude.
Or sometimes drunk guys just
dicks.
Yeah, they're like looking to start a fight, and like no matter the situation, I'm going to tell you right now, there is, even if you get into a fight and then beat their asses, there's no like, this isn't a Hollywood movie where the girl's like, wow, that's amazing, that's so manly. It shuts everything down. You have literally nothing to gain from being in a fight, and you have everything to lose. Whenever a situation like that starts happening, you just, all right, you know what? I'm out of here. I'll see you later. And you can try to take the girl with you. You can try to use that as like a, hey, we need to get out of here now kind of situation. But even if you don't, it doesn't matter. You get the fuck out. You get out.
Yeah. There is, I wouldn't say there are, unless it's your girlfriend for a long time, there is absolutely zero reason you should ever get into a fight over a girl.
Yeah.
That is literally the cue to just, okay, either we leave together or I am the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Right. I do want to interject here and say that I think, at least from my experience, and you know, I am a foreigner, but I don't find Korean guys to be really violent. Or looking for fights. Again, I don't speak Korean, but so my assumption is that it's perhaps what Paul said, that misread the situation, hit on a guy's girlfriend, said stuff that has come across as rude or weird. For instance, you did do that to me once when we were hanging out at that table, and you practically insulted a girl for no goddamn reason. Perhaps you did the same thing.
Yeah.
So it's. I mean, it happens when we drink. Like, my tongue gets loose. You know, I get loose lips, and I'll say something really rude. You know, like there was this guy the other weekend, and he was weird as shit. And I told him he was weird as shit. I literally walked around and sat next to a nicer looking guy. I told him, hey, this guy's fucking weird. I'm going to talk to you instead. I never would do that sober, even with just a few drinks, but I had several, right? Yeah. So mind that if you get to the point where perhaps too much drinking does a certain thing to you, well, avoid too much drinking, as we all should, but especially if it brings out these behaviors. So just walk away from fights. You know, we're too damn old to be fighting anyway. Don't do that, guys.
Like, last thing that could have been the reason for a situation like that to occur is that you're literally just hovering in the wrong area.
Yeah,
like,
guys, don't do that.
Like, say you don't have a table. Okay, if you don't have a table, you should always be on kind of either on the move or in the bar.
Yeah.
That is like the two places you can be.
Like a shark. You just keep going.
Yeah. Like, if you just keep hanging around the table, like, either guys gets weirded out or the girls gets weirded out from it, and then they're gonna start being, first they're gonna be like ratty, and then they're gonna be a little bit upset, and then they're gonna start to try to pick a fight.
And it's just, and the thing is, like, I've never been in a situation like that because I've been able to read a situation to where I know if I'm not welcome, I'll just fuck off, and there's no hard feelings. They don't want me there, cool, man, I'm just not gonna stay here. So if they just turn their backs on you, or if the conversation ends really quickly, they give you really quick, terse answers, just get out. You know, just be like, all right, cool, man. All right, it was good talking to you. I'll fuck off now. Later. Yeah. That's all you got to do.
Coot says that he had a Korean dude that wanted to fight him once. I can only assume that that's because you look like one of the Three Musketeers, and he like literally threw down his white glove. Sir, I challenge you to a duel.
Yeah, that's funny.
There's a lot of situations where that can happen. I just think like the best approach is always to just get out of there.
Yeah, just leave.
For the guys that knows me, like, most of you knows that I had a situation where this happened to me, where the guy is picking the fight and trying to escalate it, and then you go beyond what is considered legal self-defense, and then he tries to sue you instead. Like the typical Korean way. Like,
fuck out.
Just get out.
Some guys are just looking for an easy payout. Just don't fall for the bullshit. Like, once I was in Hongdae Park, outside the bathroom, this guy was asking me. He was practically begging me to punch him as hard as I could on his chest, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna do that. One, you're gonna go to the hospital. I'm way bigger than you. Yeah. Two, You're just gonna that camera's
You're
there.
gonna
How do I
assume
know?
that-
You're just gonna go straight down to the police station after you wake up from your coma and then get me in trouble. Not happening. I'm not stupid. Sorry. Go away. I just walked through. I was like, no, no, I'm not falling for that. So yeah, guys. Yeah,
And
no, it's
if you want to know, like, I've been a student, or like I've been to the police presentations in like language classes in Korea. Do you know what the police says to do when you get in a situations like this? Find the nearest CCTV camera and just stand still. If they want to punch you, let them punch you, because
Yeah.
then you can sue their asses afterwards.
yeah.
Just do not punch first,
That is
whatever you
sound.
do.
Yeah, actually, don't even fight back
No,
because if you both hit each other, then you can both sue each other.
yeah,
Right?
and then
It's
you
so
cancel each
weird.
other out, and then the cops
Yeah,
won't do anything.
yeah,
But
yeah,
if you let him punch you once, and then you just run away, perfectly
yeah,
fine. You can sue his ass. That's
yeah.
just how it
Call
is
the
in
cops.
Korea.
Yeah, just call the cops and be like, "Oh yeah, I just got hit this time here. I have a witness." That's it.
Anyway, let's try to move on. We
Let's
have
jump
some.
into the Discord questions.
Yeah, I'm having them ready here. Um, okay, so what to do when your friend is literally blowing it? Like you're approaching his two, and you have been having good vibes, but now your friend is starting to fail. What do you do when you something like how do you keep the interest in the group or in both of you?
So, if I'm understanding this question correctly,
We've approached it to like, me and you have approached two girls, and now I am fucking up. What do you do?
but things were going well, and then I see you
No,
start
no.
floundering.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I mean, at that point, you try to like pick up the slack. You try to get your buddy up a little bit. You try to get the girls interested. You can try to change venue. You can try to turn things into a game. You're doing something to change whatever the current situation is. You see that the current situation is beginning to fail. Change the situation, because even if you're doing okay, he's not, and if he's not, you're not too, right? Like it's gonna blow up the whole thing. So you change the situation, and if your buddy just needs if he needs a break, or if he just needs like a mental reset or something, then maybe you two do a quick beer run, right? You say like, girls, we're gonna go up and grab a couple of drinks, and we'll be right back. You look like you're kind of a gin and tonic girl, am I right? Yeah, okay, listen, I'm gonna get you a couple of gin and tonics, and we'll be back in 3 minutes or something. You reset.
Or you, if it's in the situation like where you've been a group and like now you kind of split up a little bit, so you're talking one on one, but you notice that your friend is kind of failing in the side view, then you're like, okay, let's bring it back into a group setting and kind of try to get the mood back up before we try to split up into groups again. A little bit like a very good example of that is how me and Caesar was like when me, Caesar, and Ricky was doing with those two girls, where whenever one of us was failing, we were bringing it back into a group setting and then splitting up again to kind of to keep the entertainment level to the point where no one gets bored or wants to leave, because that is the most important thing in the situation where you are. If you are the individual that feels like you're failing, you can still be a good wingman by trying to bring it back into the group setting, getting the mood up, going back into the 101 long enough for your body to be able to break out, which is literally bringing the girl home or to another bar or in any situation like that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think that was just like 50 ideas there of like what to do in that situation.
Yeah, I personally I like you could do like layers of gaming to where you could just kind of keep it going. For instance, like that Superman game, which is easy, you can be done anytime, and then you could add something to it like most likely to, never have I ever.
Describe the Superman game.
Okay, so the Superman game is basically everyone puts their hands up together like that. Last person to do it has to take a swig from their drink. And so we all do that. So Paul would have to drink because, of course, he didn't do anything. And anyone can initiate it at any time with no warning. So I do it, and then everyone else does it. And
Yeah.
that's it. So it's quick. And then you could play the other game like Never Have Ever. So you just do this,
Yeah.
and then someone else says that. You could keep both games going. At the
Yeah,
same
and
time.
you,
It's a
and
lot
you
of
can
fun.
interchange them while playing both.
Yeah.
And the cool thing with, like, for instance, Never Have Ever is that you can make it as clean as you want, or you can make it as dirty as you want, or most likely to, you could just kind of poke fun at each other and be like, most likely to have been to jail. And we all point at the hot girl. And it's like, why me?
Yeah,
You
most
just do that.
likely to is actually pretty fun.
It is.
I hate that game because anytime that I'm in it, everybody's just like, "Oh, it's Jack," every single time, right? Like,
Yeah, it's like an intervention.
But that's also like one of those things, like you have to choose the game according
Yes.
to playing
Yes.
with.
So
Right?
if Jack's around, don't play it. But
yeah,
even then, if I'm
But
around, sometimes
also like in the situation where like I could play it with Jack if it's the first time we're meeting two girls. That is perfectly fine because they don't know how crazy Jack is yet.
right.
But that is going to be very irrelevant very fast unless I fake it and I choose always one of the girls, right?
Yeah.
Because even though most likely to be wake up drunk on the street is Jack, I can still point at one of the girls in this case,
Mhm.
Sure.
right? So I can make that's also a way to make a person look less extreme than they are.
Sure.
Is also playing these games because you can downplay the version of the person you know
Mm,
versus the version that the girls get to see.
yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
That is also very good.
It's a really fun game. My complaint about Never Have I Ever is that it's a bit of a tongue twister, and I find that Koreans have a harder time saying it.
Yeah.
So
Also,
most likely to or least likely to, that's easy.
yeah. Also, another thing that's the problem with like Never Have I Ever is it very often goes very sexually very fast,
Yes.
and then people get shy and kind of want to back out of a round two.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
very
so
cool.
that's a game that you play with like someone you've been trying to know for a while, or with a good
That's a
group of
game for
friends.
the after party.
And that too. Yeah. Like I've played it with Jack with girlfriends before, and it's gone well.
But at that point, we're literally just targeting each other, just trying to get the other ones fucked up.
Phishing info.
And also, it's like, look, what are you gonna say in Never Have I Ever that I'm not gonna drink to, right?
Right.
Unless you're picking like super clean things, like never have I ever been to Norway. And it's like, okay, fine. Of course, there are things.
Yeah, but then again, now you're back to the targeting thing, right?
Yeah,
Now you're trying to make a person drunk.
yeah, exactly. All right, cool. I think we had another question in the Discord.
Yeah, we have two more. Another one from Crow here. So, tips on changing the head bits in charge of the mood when things are going well with the other girl. Had a situation where two guys, three girls. I was with the head bits in charge, and the other girl and my friend was with the third one. Both girls were having a great time, but I couldn't win over the head bit, and I ended up leaving. Is it just an issue of numbers, or what could I have done differently? So it's a group of three girls, and you are with the head bitch, and you're entertaining the third wheel, and your buddy is with the third girl. And you can't really seem to win over the head bitch.
Okay. In this situation, you need to, if you're having trouble winning her over, then that means that you're misreading something about this situation. Now, it might just be that she doesn't like you, right? That happens. And sometimes the best thing you can do in that situation is address it head on. Because if you're trying lots of different things and just like nothing's landing, not even making a dent, then there have been times where I've asked the girl directly, been like, I'm sorry, did I say something wrong, or did I like kick your dog or something? Like what is why are you so mad at me? Are you okay? Right? I'm being friendly here. What's going on? And because she's the HBIC, she's not gonna back down either. She's not gonna be like, oh no, it's nothing. She's gonna tell you what it is.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then at that point, you can make the call of either I think I can fix this and I want to try, or fuck this, not worth my time, not worth my energy. Peace out. Sorry, buddy. Sometimes in a wingman situation, if one guy has to eject, you have to roll with that, right?
Yeah, I think a thing that can happen in a situation like that is that you split into the groups too soon. And like if you run into the situation where the head bitch already has her eyes set on the other guy and he wants a third girl, then one of you have to like, okay, either he is gonna have to deal with her or the whole set is gonna blow up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll answer your question.
Yeah, don't worry.
We're getting to it after this one.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Julius?
To my understanding, it was like 3-on-2.
It's 3 girls and 2 guys, and you can't satisfy the head bitch. So not the mother hen, but
Oh.
Try to vibrate.
the dominant girl in the group. One that decides everything.
Yeah, right. Basically, my technique for that is just to get the girl I'm into. I'll just get her info and just dip out. That's it.
Yeah, that's probably the best.
The safest, quickest, easiest, best way. No confrontation. Because remember, with women, if you ask the HBIC a question to piss her off, you make one girl mad, you make them all mad. Don't do that. You can't do that if you're Jack and you just want to, suicide bomb this one. You just ruin it and be like, whatever, I win because I went out on my
that's
terms
when you
and
call
they're
in
all
Jack to go political on them.
mad. Yeah. Hey, talk about Texas secession policy. That's hilarious. But yeah, I just think pull the girl aside a little bit, be like, oh, let's do something. Hey, give me your digits. And, well, I'll see you around. I gotta, hang out with my friend, take care of him, whatever. And they'll actually like that because you're not trying to rush them home to do something. You're actually willing to play a longer game and be patient.
Another thing, like before you get to that point, once you realize who the HBIC is, which you should figure out pretty quickly.
Yeah,
it's not. They don't make it a secret. You should play towards her. As in asking her something. And you don't ask her what she does. We've already talked about how to actually ask interesting questions or make them more fun or play a guessing game or whatever else. And then start asking her things that she cares about, right? So if she says like, oh yeah, I'm a nurse, and it's like, oh, how is that? That must be really stressful. Like, do you have to often take breaks or vacations? How do you handle that stuff? Right? Something like that where you're getting into her space, not physically, but into her head space. Because that's what she really wants. She wants to talk about things that she's interested in. She wants to have a good time. She wants to feel seen. She wants to feel heard. She wants that same human connection that everybody else wants. She's just really aggressive about it.
Yeah, so like in a situation like that, you might have to, while trying to like progress things with the girl that you want, you still need to keep that intellectual conversation interesting for the head bitch, right?
So what I wasn't sure about in this situation, the way that it was described, I couldn't tell if he was trying to just be a good wingman and take care of these 2 girls so that his buddy could get the 3rd girl, or if he was interested in number 2, but was then just left out to dry by his buddy to deal with the HBIC and the girl that he wanted. If you're just in a pure winging situation, basically you play to the HBIC. You're only playing for time. But if you're also trying to get number 2, then I would play to the HBIC a little bit and then start running some of the trial closes like I discussed earlier. Oh, let's go to the bar and grab drinks. Oh, by the way, hey bitch, what's your favorite shot? Oh, let me guess. You like blowjobs, don't you? Right? And then you kind of play with her a little bit, but then you bring the friend to the bar to go get drinks, and maybe you take a little bit longer than necessary to have some time. Let the bitch just play on her phone. Maybe she Tinders up some dick appointment and she's ready, right?
Here we got the answer of the situation was that he was just purely winging, but got bristles by that bitch.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's,
if you're winging,
In that
that's
case, you just have to try entertain and buy enough time. But that is also a thing with whenever you're winging for someone, that guy should also know that you can only wing for so long.
yeah.
Like when it's a pure winging situation, like you guys have to set a time frame up front, pretty much.
well. Also,
That
if
could
it's
be like a mental thing that you already know.
if it's a pure winging situation, you don't need long. I just need you to entertain them for 1 minute so that I can have a chat with this girl, get her number, set up a date, and then we're good to go.
Yeah.
Right? Otherwise,
Yeah.
your wingman's being a dick, or your buddy who you're winging for is being a dick. Right?
Yeah. Absolutely. I had that problem. Won't say his name, but Potter. I'll call him Potter. He basically disappeared while I was trying to wing it for him because he just couldn't realize there was an HBIC. And so it took so long that he just didn't even tell me he disappeared with the girl. The HBIC made it impossible for him to close. Right.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, all right, all that for nothing. So I just took the first
It
step.
happens.
It does. So just try to be more conscious of your wingman because we got to go home and sleep too.
You have to have very like strict rules, like what is okay, how long, like what are the terms of our wingmanship?
Yes.
Wingmanship agreement.
Yeah.
I mean, now, if Jack's your wingman and you're okay with like just because I can run shit forever. I can talk to no end and I can get anybody to open up about any situation. However, we still need to be clear about like, this is what I need you to do. Okay, cool. Let's Coot, what the hell, man? Were you not paying attention in the stream? HBIC is the head bitch in charge.
Yeah. Like the head one, not the mother hen, the one
Not
that
the mother
controls
hen,
everyone.
But
Yeah.
so like
The shredder
when
of the
the
group.
mother hen is actively gonna try to cockblock everyone. The head bitch, she just wants to be entertained. If she's not having fun, she is gonna take the whole group to somewhere else where she can have fun. She is the group, the person in the group that decides
She's
what
the
they're
alpha.
going to do.
Yeah.
Basically the alpha of the girl group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's very easily identifiable because
Girl.
she's the probably the prettiest one, the one that's getting all the attention, the flashiest dressed one, easy to spot.
Or
The mother hen's usually just fat.
there's also another way of it. It's also can not necessarily be the prettiest one, but also the one that looks the most gangstery,
Yeah.
or like the one with the tattoos, the one that you will see her very fast and how the group dynamic works.
Yeah.
It can be a little hard if you have one really pretty one and then one okay pretty, but just watch who goes first. The first one that starts walking, that is the one in charge.
Yeah.
Like you will understand who makes the decisions very fast. So let's do Kurt's question, which is a follow-up question from last week.
Perfect.
At a bar, sometimes groups of girls, like you are sometimes with groups of girls, and they're bored out of their mind. Considering the guys you went out with, they can be expected. How do you engage them without feeling like their personal clown? Like their bored behavior is such a turn off for me. Within a few minutes, I start getting bored, and it doesn't really matter if they're hot. And I think at that point, like, okay, then GG, go next.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or this is my solution because I'm so fucking ADD and like I need shiny things all the time that I get bored really easily by most girls. And so what I do is I entertain myself.
Yeah.
If I'm starting to feel bored about something, then I will entertain myself. So I might do something like ask her like, hey, tell me a secret that you would never want your mother to hear. Right? And like, oh, okay, are we going there? Yeah, we're going there. Come on, here. I'll go first. And then and then because I'm just making shit up, I'm having fun. I want to entertain myself. Boredom is a choice, right? If you're feeling bored, it's because you're not choosing to make fun. You can have fun in just about any situation if you want. So if you're starting to feel bored, the guys are boring and the girls are boring, and like, let me hand you a mirror, buddy. Right? Turn it up. Do something. Entertain yourself. Make it more interesting for you, and it will automatically be more interesting for them.
Of course.
That's also like one of the reasons why, like, whenever me and Caesar does wingmanning together goes so well, because as long as it's me and Caesar, like, we're never gonna be bored. We're just gonna have fun, and we're gonna do what we think is fun. And if the girls like it, perfect. If not, let's find some other girls.
Yeah, of course.
That's usually the answer.
Yeah. And I remember once, this is when we were playing pool and you were destroying me until you let me win. And and I was like, what? How did I win? But anyway, these two British girls from London, they came in. I'd seen them a few times before at Corner, and we started talking, and they were trying to be like all cool and from London. And I was like, I've been to London. They're like, well, I'm from there. I was like, no, I've been to London. So they were kind of like, where are you from? I'm like, I'm from Houston. They're like, what's in Houston? I was like, we put man on the moon. And so I walked away all happy and proud. So that's the thing. I could have been like, oh, you're from London. Oh, okay. Well, I've only been. No, you got to make it fun for yourself. Okay, make it to where you're laughing about it later. And Paul's going, they're fat anyway. So, you just have to make it more enjoyable. Because if you're just, you have to think about yourself too.
Yeah.
It is your time. Your time's valuable.
Unless you have fun, then there's no point. So learn to make yourself have fun, either alone or in your wingmanning group. Or unless the girl is fun, then try to make the situation fun for at least to the point where like you are entertained.
Yeah. Another thing that you can do is you can mirror them, like your actions. So if they're acting bored and they're just like, oh, then you do it back and oh, wow, that's amazing. Tell me more. And like mirror, but turn it
create a really silly situation based on their
acting.
That works wonders. Like deflect their Karenisms by copying them. And they get mad quick. I'm like, all I did was just act like you. Why are you so mad?
Yeah.
It's worked wonders.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there are a million ways to solve that issue.
That's the same like when girls they say, but that is the thing though, like if you start to mirror them, they can get annoyed.
Of course.
And that's the point. And an extreme version of that is, so you know how like a lot of girls says that Gorlock the Destroyer is beautiful.
Oh.
So you just call them, okay, you look like Gorlock the Destroyer.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, when they say this thing about Lizzo, I'm like, you remind me of Lizzo.
Yeah, right. Like, yeah, exactly.
You know, Gorlock the Destroyer.
Gorlock the Destroyer.
Yeah, no, that's the way I can say it to make sure that everyone knows who I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, we have one last question here from Ricky.
Okay.
Is that when we were all hanging out, me and Caesar told him to pretend that he was a Gyopo and that he doesn't really speak Korean. But if he wants a connection with them, he can't stay on lying. Any advice about it? So the reason why we ask you to pretend to be a foreign Korean is we want you to keep the conversation in English. And in the case when we are out together, it's because we want to be able to hear and understand when you start to stumble, so we can actually help in the situation. Because if this goes full Korean, even though we are decent in Korean, we fall off very quickly if we have a conversation on the side in English. So it's actually mostly just to try help you out in these situations. Of course, if it turns out to be something great, then just pretend you are full Korean. Perfectly fine. But the problem is the second you go full Korean, other than body language, we can't interrupt you if you are starting to stumble. Like we don't see that on the conversation other than the body language. And when we are focusing on other people at the same time, that can be very, very hard to notice.
There's something else worth pointing out here, which is that by the way that it's designed, the Korean language creates barriers between people. Yeah. And so if you open a conversation in Korean, you're either being a distant stranger or you're being rude as fuck. You don't want either of those situations. So if you open in English and you guys start, talking a little bit, but then you later jump into Korean and now you can use banma the whole time or whatever. I lie about that stuff all the time, but it's not really lying because it is telling something that is not true, but it's not to the point of tricking them. It's to the point of being interesting, entertaining, getting their attention. I tell people I'm Korean. They ask me, "Oh, where are you from?" And I'm like, "Oh, originally I'm from Gumi." And they're like, "Wait, what?" I'm like, yeah, Gumi down south. Gyeongguk Gumi, Pakchunhee Gumi. And they're all like, "Wait, what? What's going on? What are you talking about?" Obviously not true. And I'll keep that thing up for about 30 seconds or so before I just jump back in. And I'm like, "No, of course I'm not Korean. Don't be fucking dumb." Right? Play with it. It's technically speaking, it is lying. It is saying something that is not true. But the purpose behind it is not trickery or deception. The purpose behind it is something else. It's entertainment, or it's using the language in a way that's beneficial to you, that helps make a connection, whatever, right?
You can also do the same thing that we do about age. You can just say, when she asks you where you're from, just say, guess.
Guess.
And whenever she says, okay, perfectly. How did you know?
Amazing. You got it right on the first try.
So smart.
Fantastic.
Like, I've been everything from 23 to 41.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, sure.
No one gives a shit. And even when they figure out a month later, they don't care.
Yeah, it's unimportant. That's why it's okay to lie about it, because you're not lying about something important. Again, you're not trying to trick or deceive.
No.
You're just like, okay, this is a fucking stupid question. I don't care, right? So, whatever, right?
Yeah. But in the situations where we ask you to do that, it is so that we can actually monitor.
We take notes. We lean in, we listen, we pay attention to body language and everything.
Yeah,
that's the main thing. But yeah, like you can always come clean and maybe later that same night be like, "Oh no, it's just I prefer English because my friends are all foreigners," right?
Yeah,
that still keeps you interesting, and then just go back to English.
Yeah,
Korean is just too stuffy, and we can't help you.
Yeah, the clue is the second you start going full Korean, like Jack said, there is a barrier where you're either polite or rude.
Yep.
Right? Or
the game
also brings a barrier between especially like when we try to teach you and try to wing you, like when we have limitations in Korean. Like we are not fluent. We might be survival. We can do pretty well in Korean. We could probably keep most of the conversations in Korean, but it's also very draining for us, and our game is not in Korean, right? So for us, like you put a barrier there where we cannot help you. It makes it a lot harder for us to like cheer up the mood, interrupt the conversation, bring you guys in to the full group conversation. So it's just like using it mostly just to make sure the conversation stays in Korean in English for the most part.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Right? Yeah, I think to demonstrate to our viewers just how stuffy and weird and formal Korean can be. I once heard this guy. He made an approach to these two girls, and I was with my girlfriend, and he started talking to them and asking about their age right away. Like, how old are you? Now, I mean, I know that's an important question in Korean, because in Korean, there's a hierarchy is very important. So you have to kind of gauge how you need to speak to them. But it's so cringy, right? Like in English, you don't have to worry about that. Ever. Age is not a thing in English unless the person's way older or way younger, to where a little kid can be like, "Hey, quit fucking around," or the older guy says, "Excuse me, sir." right? That's
Yeah.
about the formality we have. So yeah, Korean's just stuffy, formal.
And yeah, while Jack's Korean game is pretty okay, Coot, Jack has also been living in Korea more than 4 times as long as I have.
Yeah. Well, and also like I
And he studied 10 times as hard as I have.
my Korean game is so basically all the Korean that I know and that I use is all designed around not just game, but specifically around my style of game. It's all like building these ups and downs. It's making these jokes. It's pointing out stupid things. It's doing wordplay. It's using puns. It's all this stuff. Basically, I have superb bar Korean. Now, outside of the bar, I sound like a fucking toddler.
Yeah,
Right.
and then you have my Korean, which is university Korean.
Yeah.
Like I have classroom Korean. That's what I know.
Mm.
Right. And then of course I've picked up a lot about other than that too, but like my main core of Korean comes from a classroom and like in university student, like as a university student, and that becomes a whole like I can use my Korean to help my game, but I can't use it as my game.
Right.
Like I can like sprinkle my Korean over the whole situation
And it
at
impresses.
perfect moments, and use it to impress or to make fun of, and like kind of get the mood, cheer up the mood, or just make them go, "Oh shit! Now I gotta like apologize for everything I said for the past hour."
Yeah, exactly.
Especially when you go approach groups, like if me and Caesar go to a group of girls, we are never gonna say that we understand Korean. We're gonna wait till the perfect moment, and then just go, "한국 사람이야."
Whip it out.
Yeah,
Freak out. And that's
it does.
really
It works
big
great.
roller coaster that really generates emotion in people.
It's like a secret move.
Yeah.
You know, you just kind of pull it out unexpectedly when the time is right, and it just if things are going inside you, shoots it right up, and suddenly we're impressing them with my survival Korean and his university Korean.
I can guarantee you, Ricky, their English is not good enough to realize the difference.
No, deceiving is not a good
And
word
you're
here
not
because it means
deceiving.
you're tricking and doing something to get something out of them in a really harmful way. You're not doing that. You're just
No.
having fun.
Yeah,
Okay.
you just play it.
Yeah, this isn't
Think
immoral.
about it as having fun.
Yeah,
And just say to yourself, whenever you're out with us, you're a foreigner, and not because you have to be, but because the people that you're hanging out with are foreigners, so that you need to speak in English, and that is the easiest way for you to think.
Yeah.
absolutely.
And you can even play to their politeness and be like, well, yeah, I could speak to you in Korean, but my friends don't speak Korean very well. And so
That
it's
would
kind
be very rude.
of rude.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a very valid thing. It's like when I hang out I used to hang out with this group of French girls, and they would all speak English for me, which is really nice. They didn't have to do that. You could do the exact same thing. It's a very valid excuse.
Yeah. Okay, I think that we're just about there. We're at
We're through all the questions. We're through all the questions from Discord. I think it's a good
We've
time
covered all the questions.
You guys want to do a quick wrap up? Like,
Yeah,
guys,
unless any
rule of two: no hovering, unless you get explicit permission for women you bring out. Don't hound them, don't hover them, don't annoy them, don't whatever. Guys, you want to add anything?
Yeah, I think that one is very important. Like whenever one of the guys brings out a girl, you do not have permission to try pull
Unless
game
it's-
on her until you've been told so.
Mhm.
I think that's a very important thing.
Very, very important, yes.
Yeah.
Uh,
Let's do one last cheers with the chaps, gents.
Yeah, and okay, then what is
All
the
right.
secret phrase?
Then what?
What's the secret phrase for next time we're out?
Oh, the topic for next time?
No. Yeah, we also have to choose the topic for next time.
Yeah.
But remember, last week when we were having this, we decided that there is one thing that this is a mandatory.
Like a safe word?
Yeah, there's going to be a safe word
I
to be
can't
allowed to come drink with us. Remember?
remember.
No,
Oh,
we didn't choose a word, but we decided last time that whenever we go out, to be
Yeah.
allowed to be a part of the group. Since this
Oh,
live
that's
stream is mandatory.
the wingmanning thing. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, since the wingman thing is mandatory, there was going to be a passphrase if
Yes.
you wanted to hang out with us at the bar.
That's right. That's what we wanted to do. We wanted to make this mandatory watching. Even if somebody comes in later, they have to
Yeah,
watch.
they have to watch.
Right. So here's your word. If you've seen this, then if you want to hang out with us, you have to say gorilla shoes. Julius knows what I'm talking about. You know what I'm on about. You
Yeah,
have to
of
say
course.
gorilla shoes. You tell us the phrase gorilla shoes, and we will know that you got your wingman primer, and so you're allowed to hang out. You're allowed to be part of the crew. But if you don't know about the gorilla shoes, then we assume you can't fucking wing. That's what it is. Let's guys who in the audience, y'all are still here. Y'all help us choose the topic for next week. What's next week's topic gonna be? What do you think? Or you two as well, right?
Oh yeah, no, I was just waiting for the group.
Give them a couple minutes to write, and then we can discuss like our ideas.
I like what Tay was talking about earlier in the chat, where things in Korea are very temporary and transient, especially with the foreigners or sometimes locals here. How to identify that? How to deal with that?
So, like, how to tell what a girl is looking for?
Yeah.
Not quite. Yes,
Yeah,
but
actually, I think that is a good way of phrasing. I understand what you're trying to go with. Like in
Yeah.
Korea, a lot of things are temporary. So, like whether or not like a girl can be here right now and then she leaves.
Yeah, I'm like
She can
2
be
months, a
Korean and
month,
she's
a
gonna
week.
be going to the UK for a month or a year.
Yeah.
Or she can be just looking for. But I think like identifying what they're looking for. I think that's kind of the core.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we could make it more broad, I guess, to give you more room to work with, because it could be like how to deal with that and how to, maybe
How to
not get too
identify and
attached.
deal with what
Yeah,
the
how
girl
to
is
keep
actually
up with
looking
that, how to kind of cut your losses, sort of thing. How to not get too hung up.
Yeah.
I don't know, just an example. I don't know. I met this 9.5 out of 10, and then we were seeing each other. And then a week later, she had to go, and we were only seeing each other for like 2 weeks. It fucking sucks.
The German one?
No, then
No, this is a while back. I could show you pictures of her.
I mean, the German
Yeah.
one was also a while back.
Oh yeah, no, that was super sexy. She was super sexy.
But in that case, you left, not her.
Oh,
All
that's
right,
you did stuff for her.
my fucking boss bought me a ticket. Like, I was like, hey, I need to get a ticket, sometime, and she gets it for me like a day later. I'm like, all right, not that soon.
No, Kate, it's not like identifying the type, but identifying
Not
whether
type.
they are looking for long-term, short-term, a fling, just hookups,
Yeah.
everything
I
like
suppose
that.
so.
Like based on what she's saying, what does she actually want?
I understand what you're saying, Coot. Like, I totally get it. But the reality is that, like, sometimes a girl might be looking for a long-term relationship, but
Like,
while she's waiting for Prince Charming to come along,
yeah,
she's willing to entertain a couple of hookups or maybe a short-term relationship or something like that.
like yeah, you can find a husband hunter who is down for a one-night stand. That is not a problem,
Mhm.
right? Like
Yeah.
her type identifies like long-term relationship, while what she wants today is just
Right. Well, because like I remember in the chat with Tate and the girl's leaving for a month despite having a really nice connection, and and the other dude was saying like, oh, maybe she's just not interested. I was like, well, it's not that she's not. It's not that she's not interested. It's that she's leaving, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's happened to all of us in this chat.
yeah. It happens
Or we've done it to someone else where you meet someone incredible, then she's gone a week or two later. Right? And I think that's where I'm going with this.
That's when you go. Let's grab a whiskey at the bar and see how it goes.
Yeah.
And then you also have to like kind of put your mindset to like, okay, this is gonna be a couple weeks thing, and then
Yes. Yes. So I don't know if that's a topic you want to tackle, like, because it is pretty niche, but I think it's something that can apply to everyone here.
Yeah, well, I mean, and it's an important topic because
Sure.
what if you already know what you're looking for, then being able to find the girl who's looking for the same thing is critical. That's
Yeah, but also
important understanding her type.
But what makes it tricky
know
here
what you're
too?
looking for. You're looking for typically like the types that kind of translate into that, but also how do you identify either
But
people
but
to
here's
kind
a
of fill the gap or to kind of like when do you know if she's actually
but,
longing
but
for some whatever.
well, here's the tricky thing though, is that, like, you meet this person, things are incredible, you have an amazing connection. What do you do when you find out she's leaving super soon? Right. That's
Yeah.
kind of the crux of my thing.
Mm,
Okay,
You see what I'm
so
saying?
kind of state control in the situation where you know it's gonna be short term,
It's
whether
very temporary. There's
whether
an
or not you want
expiration
it to or not.
you're not ending because horrible reasons, whatever. It's because it's just so short, but it's so sweet. What do
mm,
you do? Do you pursue? Do you not? Do you continue? How do you deal with it afterwards? Do you guys keep up contact? Do you go visit her? Do you not? Things. That's what I'm trying to say.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so basically, how do you deal with the situation when I can't remember which type you have that. I think it's the succubus that like burns bright and then just dies. Like, how do you deal with the situation when you know, no matter what type the girl is, that the situation can only be it's gonna explode for 3 weeks and then it's gone. How do you deal with that?
Yes, but I think the difference here is that, for instance, I've had a fling where, like, I've had a girl, and it was just pure feral, caveman infatuation where we just fucked, right? And then it ended in like a week or two, and that's just because the infatuation ended from her end or my end or whatever.
Well,
This
that's
one's,
part
I
of
think,
it.
more unique in that it's just purely timing.
Yeah, but
That's what
that's
makes
what I'm
this
saying.
different.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like I was trying to use like the succubus example because she is kind of the type that does that. Like burns like really bright, like
Sure.
just showers you with love and excitement and feralness for 3 4 weeks, and then she
Oh
disappears.
yeah, that girl was a total succubus, but this one
Yeah,
was,
but like
but the others are not,
yeah,
right?
but the point
Yeah.
was like, what do you deal with the situation when you know that that is the best situation, like best thing you can get out of the situation? Like
Mhm.
you met this really cool girl, but you know that there's a time limit to it.
Yes, basically, like, you gotta go, I gotta go, whatever. Like it happened. Yeah, you guys are new, so
Yeah, well, it's bedtime anyway. Like I'm fucking exhausted.
all
Yeah.
right, sounds good.
All right, Ricky,
Sorry, this is all
next time.
abstract.
Oh, by the way, guys, if you're still watching and you haven't done it yet, hit the like button, hit the little thumbs up down there. YouTube loses its fucking control every time that you do that. It every time you hit the like button, it makes the little YouTube munchkin jizz in his pants. So hit it, do it, slap that like button. It helps the algorithm. It helps us grow. It helps more people get the message, and it helps everybody learn all about the gorilla shoes. So, with all of that said, I think that this we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up for today. Paul, Julius, thank you for joining. Really appreciate it. Those of you watching at home, thank you so much for joining as well. And I will catch you guys next time. So until next week, boys.